Hello and welcome back to Spekd. Happy New Year and a belated Merry Christmas. Either way, I hope you had a good time and good holidays, whether you celebrate or not. I just had a great time recovering, getting back to things, and just re-energizing for this new year as we have so much to do. Not in a bad way, like in a really good way. And so I want to spend more time sharing some hobby. It'd be good for my health, mentally and physically. And also, I'm sure it will be fun for you guys to either mock or shame me. Or join in, I mean, clearly, because that's the thing that you do. Because clearly, those other things are not the things you should do. Well, look, Warhammer Conquest issue number 67. One thing to know about this from my point of view, when I saw the scouts on this, I was like, nah, I'm just not in. The first thing I thought was, why didn't they just put eliminators on here? This is an episode or issue that they could have changed things up and just put eliminators on here. They are crazy good. I've got some from the Shadow Spear box set and they're working out great. But hey, look, let's just get to it. So, issue number 67, we have a beautiful price there still, $7.99. That has not changed, and the artwork is looking kind of nice with that kind of contrast there. The warm color matrix there, we're going from warm blue, warm orange. They work together well, but they're also highly contrast. It's welcoming. It's almost golden, but they're scouts in white pants. Okay, look. We're getting our 5 models. That's fantastic. And if you're wondering where the plastic's gone, my little one unboxed it for me. She really wanted to do that, so I let her do it. That's the thing. I want to be more inclusive for her, just to have fun. So, and then after that, she ran away. Right, sprue check. So this is the sprues as usual. And the sprues, they just look good. There's nothing different about them. I should have changed maybe the brightness there for the white balance, but hey, these are the lights I've got at the moment and the location I'm in, because I'm doing this somewhere, not normally at home. There you go. The sprue looks good, clean. Sniper scouts, I've already made these before. There is a missile launcher there, which is cool, but mainly sniper rifles. You've got 6 there in total. If you've got Gene Stealer Colt and you've got an extra biker knocking around, just put one of these sniper rifles on that biker. You can turn it into I think it's called the Ataline Jackal, the sniper biker, and save yourself like 12 quid or so. There you go, there's a saving tip. Let's have a look. Bases, old standard, 25mm, nothing special there. They're just extra tiny, good for blobbing up things on objectives. Okay, let's have a look. So what do we have? We have our Space Marine champions. We've got Sergeant Tellion, Deathwatch Showcase. That means we are going to be seeing something to do with Deathwatch right here in the 40k universe, probably with the Psychic Awakening. We've got the Sniper Scouts build, painting, and we have the missions there. So that is standard. But I do think, as we've seen before, when Games Workshop highlights something in these magazines, it means normally something's happening in the main 40k universe. I'd love to see what that's going to be. So company champions and chapter champions. These guys are the best warriors of the chapter, and they're normally given special relics. And those relics are used as kind of like, almost like banners, in a way that they represent a lot to the company, to the chapter, to the army, and people fight alongside them to get them into the main spearhead, so they can come up against the opposing warlords or the opposing enemies. So when they defeat them, it's very symbolic. Now, it doesn't really translate into the game too well. Like they could give you extra command points, or the opponent loses command points or something. That would be a good mechanic, but that's not how it works. Really, it's a cheap HQ. It can be, and game-wise, yeah, Smash captains are a thing. Okay, so you've got the Emperor champion. So here you're looking at the come on, Black Templars. That's it. Even tells me there. Black Templars are very much kind of archaic in a way of weapons. Their mentality kind of knightly based. Not so much projectiles, but more about getting in and doing their thing. And think Hell's Reach, I keep talking about this story. If you haven't seen it yet, if you just joined in or if you've just woken up into 40k, go and have a look at Richard Boylan's Hell's Reach, and you get to see Grimaldus, a chapter master, not a chapter master, a chaplain of the Black Templars. It's an amazing story. That's all I'm going to say about it anymore. Anyway, so we have our sergeant here, which this sergeant, are they looking at Primaris? No. Standard sergeant here for Ultramarines. Yep, you can see there. He's scout based by the looks of it. I've never seen him before. He's got his war gear options there. I wonder. So, a lot of people do look at scout models and they think, well, whatever. But scouts are an integral part of the way that Space Marines actually progress, as they start off as scouts and then they start progressing and they go through the former space ninjas like Reavers, etc., infiltrators. And when you start looking into it, they pretty much hold every single role, which is why the Space Marines are so consistent in what they can do and why they are so effective. It's one of the things that I really do like about them when you follow their story. So even though you tend to sacrifice scouts off in the beginning or use them for board control, actually they're a really important part of the future of that said chapter, because the ones that do make it can progress quite far. And when you think back on it, it's probably the reason why chapter masters and captains are so effective, because they really can give orders that speak to the substructures of those armies throughout the whole thing. It's, you know, that underpinning knowledge, not just for a few years, maybe for hundreds of years. Okay, so we've got Death Watch information here. Death Watch deal with the Xenos and Chaos Demons when no one should know about them. They're like the Men in Black, or, you know, the X-Files team. I don't want to put it like that, but not just Mulder and Scully. It's like the best of every single Space Marine army. So you might have one come from Blood Angels, Space Wolves, Dark Angels, etc. And they all work under one banner. The information that they have and they gain as they work stays with them, and they get to keep that. But they're also respected as they go back to their old chapters. You know, no secrets are passed on. It's just very much well respected. There was a set that came out a while back called Death Watch, and it was a board game where you got a lot of Gene Stealers and a lot of Death Watch models individually, and they were set up as kill teams later on and sold individually, and that was pretty cool. It was a good value box, well worth it. I don't think you can get your hands on it. You can still buy the tiles, but it was a really good game and I had a lot of fun with it. It's almost like Blackstone Fortress, but less AI work. Is very close to Space Hulk, but with a variety of models again. Okay, so with the showcase of models, they're predominantly the small Marines at the moment, where they have a lot of variety. If you was a person that didn't know who you really want to pick as an army, and you did like a lot of different Marine types, it's well worth just getting yourself into Death Watch. They have a very strong fire base, special ammunition, but they're a very elite team in the sense that, as they are the best of the best, they find themselves in awkward situations. And you really have to work on providing cover for them. Now, the Corvus Black Star that we saw in the previous mission, or maybe even in the previous magazine, is one of the best vehicles, hands down, for designs. I know it looks awkward and chunky, but it reminds me of the Blackbird, and it is so beautiful. I was lucky enough to get one of these for Christmas a couple of years back. My partner gave me it, and I was well chuffed to have it. You know, it was, and I've still got it, and I used it the other day. Unfortunately, as it's so elite, I had a lot of models inside the plane, and obviously when they kind of took off and got to the location, the close quarter combat part of the army, unfortunately it got blown out the sky, blew up, and destroyed most of my models. Lost that game hard. It happens. Okay, Sniper Scouts, very easy to build. I've already got these built beforehand for Blood Angels, so I'll just showcase those. And the missile option. I don't really like to use that missile launcher on a scout. I would prefer to put that onto an actual Space Marine. And then you've got a Marine, Devastator Space Marine. So build continuing there. it's kind of nice that they're giving you these instructions. If I remember rightly, the original instructions for the build was literally just pictures without any kind of letters or numbers. It was just, you just had to guess, which can be awkward in some situations. So moving on to our painting, and then we're using a hell of a lot of colors at this point. Just get that in focus there. We are using a hell of a lot of colors for just these few models. So it's getting quite intense. I think you guys actually know that I'm a fan of just coloring the model black because they're meant to be stealth models and going from there. So however you paint it is your thing. Let's have a look. Anything interesting here that they're highlighting? No, just keep your eye on the lenses. They're fun to do if you get that done right. I don't know what's going on with this green power cable. Just have a quick look at the front again. Yeah, they've got that on there. Well, you know, whatever preferences and choices. Ah, this is what we're here for. Camo cloaks. Now this can be really tricky, but they're giving you a lot of nice designs and a way how to kind of color your cloaks. Now, again, sometimes I use black, just leave them black, they're in stealth mode, but I do like this. All you got to do is make sure you let the paint dry in between and you can get some lovely layered effects. You know, just take your time. Currently on my eliminators, I have a design similar to this, but with triangles. It just looks cool. It's probably not stealthy at all to break up the object surface, but it works for me. Yeah, I like that. I mean, you can always combine these. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, some of my scout models as well, what I tend to do is a bit cheeky, is literally cover the back with a piece of terrain, like a bush piece to terrain, and depending on the board, just turn them around to the opponent so they got their backs to the opponent, so it just looks like a piece of terrain. And you know, when you're sniping, you just point in their general direction. Yeah, those 5 are shooting over there, and then do that at the beginning of the round, and then people tend to forget by the end of the round. So when it gets to their turn, they're shooting. Hopefully. Okay, so we're looking at shades here. We're looking at application of the shades. Washes, which we should be familiar with now. But I do like the way that they've given you the list of shades which go with which base paints, and that's really nice. Moving on to scouts there, more highlighting. Yep, we know about that, so that's good to see. Shading the camo cloaks, let's just come back here. So they're showing you what to shade with what, which works well. But again, you could always experiment and try. There's nothing wrong with that. Highlighting. As you can see, this is where this really pops. Just that little bit of extra highlight means so much, especially when you've got the same foundation. As you can see, it's come out really nice. Front, back, side views there, as always. Basing. And then we have the mission. So the stories are moving forward. We did get a new folder with this lot, by the way, just to let you know. So we now got the 4th folder, which is the last folder for the standard delivery, which is great. But we're moving forward with Death Guard, deployment, and we're moving into power ratings now. So rather than using points, which is how most people build their army when it comes to match play and ITC rules, etc., they are sticking with power rating. I mean, by now you would already have your codex. There's no two ways about it. I'm sure you would have bought your codex. Although I did have someone ask me, like, how do you build a 40k army even after seeing the kind of Conquest? So I will do a video for you in particular, just so you can see that. It's just really trying to cut down the major costs of things that you do need versus the things that you don't need. So sometimes people can bundle you with a lot of things, and it also depends on what army you're going to be using. So when it comes to these missions now, we've been given leeway to make up the map as we choose and how we want, and set things up as how we want, because we've got the rules for it. So they trust us with that. Try to always have line of sight blocking terrain on the mat anyway, so it works out really well. Other than that, just have fun with it, play it a few times. We have our scouts stats. We've got the missile launcher in there now, so we can replace our old data sheet. Conceal positions, good to see. I still think they could have put the eliminators in here just to let you have fun. So back, guidance information, and we're looking at our next set of info. So we have our reactors. We've already had one of these. So in the last few issues, we had a few double ups. We're getting that happen again. It is what it is. We need to fill out terrain. And we're getting a Plague Marine champion. Now, this is different to the Icon Bearer. The Icon Bearer looked like it should have been a champion, but it wasn't. It was just a standard Marine. If I was you, I would play that as a, you know, as a champion and just have fun with it, because it seems like it's more fun. And also variations on champions let you know which unit's which, but again, does it matter? Hey, whatever. We're gonna get to see stats and numbers. So I wanna get the models together and show them at the end. But overall, I think this was quite a cool issue. Simple, not really a fan of repeating the snipers. I really think that's an opportunity to have the eliminators in there, and I would like to see that. But hey, they need to get rid of old stock, right? Thank you, Games Workshop. This has been Spekd. I've enjoyed my time. I hope you've enjoyed your time. Those are good little models. Can be fun on the table if you've got a few points to spend. Either way, enjoy your day, enjoy your week, and I'll catch you again soon. PC